All right, welcome to the November 12th meeting of the Fall River Sewer Commission. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived by those present, and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Okay, before we deal with the agenda, we have someone in the audience that wants to make a comment. It's not on the agenda. If it's okay with the commissioners, they want to waive the issue and allow this gentleman to make a short presentation. I'll entertain a motion to waive the rules.
Make that motion to waive the rules.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, sir, if you want to make a short,
Yes. Once
hold
again,
on, before you do it, I need your name and address.
Steve Nassif, 11 Osprey Drive, Berkeley, Massachusetts. I won't take a seat. And once again, I appreciate the vote to waive some of your rules. At the last meeting, I made a comment, in public comment, and the chairman asked me a question. He said, "Did you say this stuff to Somerset?" And I answered in probably the most understated comment I've made in probably my entire life. I said, yes, I did. That would be a dramatic understatement because I had been talking with Paul Coogan for several years about this matter. I didn't just come in out of the woodwork, and I thought it was going to be done on a higher level. I was at the wrong place. Paul was going to talk to the chairman of the board in the Somerset Selectmen, and somehow they were going to engage Paul and the relevant person over there. This went on for a couple of years. So I called Paul Coogan, and he said, "You're the only one on planet Earth that's talking about this." Then I went over in 2024 to engage the Water and Sewer Commission. I figured, okay, so I'm going to engage the Water and Sewer Commission. What are you guys doing? Yeah, we're going to do it. Yeah, we're going to do it. They were relying on a comment from 2019 to make determinations. I'm going to go quickly and not throw a lot of shade. May 12th is really when this all started, when they had their Wright Pierce presentation. I met Paul that night. It was like the Karen Reed trial. After they were done with this presentation, I got up and I grilled it for like 45 minutes because it was very wrong. So now we have what you said, rightfully so, looks like a no-brainer. But I was gratified that Paul said, let's get some committees going. Because I'm not throwing any shade on this board, but you have to have another meeting just to allow him to send this presentation. We gotta move a lot faster than that. And the board committees will get this work done. There's no more 21, 22, 23, and year 24 to work on this. At year 25, it's done. Gotta get a little faster. I was thinking that it's exactly right. You need some committees, but there's one committee missing, and that's what I'd like to talk about tonight. The committee or a committee or a few people working on the potential region and what all that's about. I'd like to make a request that I be allowed to set up with guidance for both cities, a few people to work on what the region would look like. What would that do? Go and get best practices from Springfield, Worcester, Brockton. Go visit the other place, Mass Water Resources, Deer Island. Talk to whoever's in charge at the state legislature. Do a little bit of work to say, what's the nuts and bolts of this while the two town committees, city and town committee, work on, that other structure. There may be some overlap, and possibly this potential regional committee will have to interface with those two, but we really got to supercharge this negotiation because at the rate I've seen it happen, it's been going like a glacier. We've been moving at the speed of light, believe it or not, since May 12th. A lot of stuff's happened. If you were at a baseball game, we were fighting for 4 years just to get up at bat. We got up at bat on May 12th, and now we maybe hit a single to get to first base. We don't have all this time, considering what Somerset's up against. They need to get an extension if there's some legitimate stuff here from the EPA, and then, to start a region out of nothing, it's not rocket science. And I told Paul, when I do something that I've never done before within my industry, I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel. I do what everybody else does. So I would take that same mindset and say, how'd you guys do? Is anybody here that started this meeting? What are we gonna do? Who's the people at the state legislature? Can somebody lend us a hand? Somebody will find between Brockton, Springfield, Worcester, and maybe up at MRA, somebody will take me under their wing and say, this is what you gotta do. I'm certain of it. And that way we can get it. And that's what I wanted to say. And I'm very happy, and I want to see that I want to see this single get hit by you guys sending them, authorizing Paul to send the first thing over to Somerset. That's why
Well, Mr. Nassif, thank you for your comments. It sounds like you'd like to volunteer to do some of this groundwork and so forth, legwork that's out there to be done. I'm sure we'll keep you in mind,
Thank you very much.
and if it all comes to that, and you seem like you're a pretty well inspired guy about this whole thing, which is good. So we'll keep that in mind,
All I
and
ask.
we appreciate you coming and your comments.
Thank you very much,
All
and
right.
I'll sit back and watch your meeting.
Okay, that takes us to the item number one, the only item on the agenda, which is worded as the Somerset interconnection for sewer approval of report to Somerset. We've all been given a copy of the report. It's been, I think, reviewed, and I think some modifications made to it since the last meeting.
With a couple of minor adjustments.
Yeah, I've read through them, I think I picked them up, but, anybody have any comments with respect to what's in the report and what it's trying to say or whatever? And, does anybody have any questions in regard to
I
it?
just wanna say that Paul's put a lot of work into this particular draft, and I hope to God that Somerset sees this as an initial thing and that we're interested in doing this. No question in our minds, each and every one of us. That's my hope.
Okay, anybody else have anything about it? Say about it?
So Paul, you're gonna brief the public one more time? Yeah, please, so what I'm asking for from the board tonight, and just so everybody's clear, I'm asking for the board to approve this letter, for me to forward this, get this letter distributed as shown on here with any minor modifications to edit or grammar as needed during the finalization time. So what this is, again, is really talking about the regionalization between Fall River and Somerset involved with wastewater. How that would work, again, like we talked about last time, there's two different ways to be able to structure this. There's a lot of ways to do it, but two of the ways that it's kind of narrowed down to is potentially taking our wastewater plant and certain pieces of our infrastructure, i.e. being our deep, the 20-foot diameter deep rock tunnel in our wastewater plant, and taking and putting that into a separate independent region. So that would be a separate independent region, its own independent governing body that would essentially charge rates to anybody that goes into that system. So they pretty much, we break that off from the Fall River Sewer Commission. They would have their own board, set their own rates, manage their own system the way that they need to. That would that could, how the board could be structured, with different communities and the different communities that go into that. There may be different members from each community, depending on how it's structured, the board structured and stuff like that. It could have, it could be based on flow rates or amount of sewerage. If we did do a regional, I would recommend that there be a minimum, so that just a very small system that's giving us 10,000 gallons a day or whatever doesn't try to jump in to the region. So that's kind of one way. The other way would be like the standard intermunicipal agreements that we have with our other communities. So the other communities, and the difference between any type of agreement with Somerset and the other communities that we're currently in agreements with, i.e. being Freetown, Westport, or Tiverton Wastewater District, is just the sheer volume that Somerset would be providing to us. It's it just trumps any of those other ones. We're not even at million gallons on any of the other facilities. This is over 3 that they'd be providing us. Somerset does have an I&I issue in flow and infiltration. So I know they pump out roughly about 1.15 million gallons a day on average. They pump out from their water plant. Their wastewater plant treats about 3.5 million gallons. So that's about 2.3 million gallons of I&I flow that they see within their system. It is a lot. Can I say that we're any better? We do have I&I as well within the city. So everybody deals with that. Everybody that's in the industry that does this deals with those demons, unless you're a brand new system. When you're dealing with these vintage systems like both Florida and Somerset have, the collection systems, it's just it's something that's there. So they were wondering how that would be dealt with. That was one of the questions that I got back from them pretty hard during the time. So what I did, I went through and I built a rate of what we could charge them based on flow to provide us. So this would be figuring that they would be coming into our system in the Columbia Street drop shaft. So that's where this system would enter ours. And again, with the regional system, whether it looks at the pipes underneath the river coming across, whether that be part of the region, that really wasn't built into this rate structure, but that could be something that could be discussed and talked about. And actually, as Mr. Nassif said, in the public comment period, breaking this down into a small committee that's able to meet very regularly and be able to hammer through some of these issues, keeping the independent boards, each side keeping their independent boards up to date of what's going on and stuff like that, I think would be crucial to be able to fast track this as well. So the rate structure that I built, looking at that, knowing that they're not going to be tying into any of the other collection systems, so they won't hit our regular collection system that goes down all the streets. They won't be going into any pump stations, so you won't have the cost of electricity, upgrades and maintenance of pump stations. You won't have the main interceptor or any of that. There won't be any impacts or minimization of or increase in CSO discharges, because we're going directly into the tunnel, not into anything that would discharge on a CSO during wet weather. So the rate that was developed would be $5.88 per CCF. Looking at that, that would be what they would be charged for the amount of billed water. So they bill their customers. We would charge them $5.88 per CCF based on the amount of water that they bill their customers. As far as I&I goes, again, that's pretty substantial. They would be charged 50% of that rate for the I&I. So
My question is,
yes,
why 50%?
that's our built the rate structure with that.
All right,
in mind.
is
So I don't think we could.
that something that other communities would historically do as well?
Can't say whether I've come across that or not. You know, again, the I&I is something that needs to be considered. That's still wastewater that needs to be treated. Comes into our facility, still needs to be treated. Again, for the rate structure to be marketable, you know, it wouldn't be able to be, you know, billed at 100%. I don't think that would be.
I can understand what I&I is. I mean, it's a lot of cases it's just water, right?
Groundwater.
You know, you're talking
Stormwater.
stormwater, whatever the case may be, and you know, it doesn't have the impurities in it that you're gonna get out of the 1.15 million that's going to be pumped up. But you know, I was just wondering how you came about it, because I'm sure it's going to be some type of part of the negotiations as well.
Yeah, 100%. And again, this is, you know, to make it marketable, fair, and equitable. You know, again, our residents don't get charged for I&I, but again, it's still something that we need to deal with at the end. You know, with it coming fully into our system through that, you know, that limited part of our system being treated at the plant, there needs to be some type of charge for it. You know, you look at some of our other intermunicipal agreements, again, they're charged 100% because they're charged based on meters in the town lines. But again, to try to make this marketable and equitable, that's what we came up with the rate structure. And again, that's something that they can control too.
Yeah.
So they can take and they can make improvements to their system, reduce that I&I, and they'll pay less.
Mm.
So that's something that's well within their control of whether they pay that extra 50% or they reduce their I&I to very little and don't pay. So.
Okay.
But so that kind of runs through, and as I went over, kind of runs through the whole draft. As I went over last time, and again, some people may say, well, that's cheaper than what a Fall River resident pays. You know, that's definitely something that's going to be said in relation to this, because as everybody knows, our rate right now is $8.11. So the question came up at the last meeting: is this going to run us a profit? You know, is this going to be a moneymaker for us? It's not going to be a moneymaker for us. Is it going to help out the rate for the residents of Fall River? Yes, 100%. It will reduce the rate for the residents of Fall River. It'll reduce the rates for the resident of Somerset as well, I believe, from their full build out and their full cost that they're going to be faced with up ahead. You know, so it will, you know, and I'm not going to not say this, but this would drop the rate, the you know, cost to the Fall River customer. You know, that's plain mathematics, because we're taking the same cost and we're then dividing it up over more people. And that's a whole entire, that's one of the things that drives me and compels me to want this to move forward so much is the sharing of that cost. If anybody has to spend the money anyways, why wouldn't you want to do it over more customers? And this exactly echoes what Somerset Board said back in 2020 in one of their meetings when they were looking at their budget, that they wanted to look at, you know, the overall, you know, that's when they were talking about adding in Swansea, adding in Dayton into the wastewater. And they said, well, why wouldn't we want them to come in? Because it's just going to make more people to be able to share the cost. And that's what it comes down to.
I think it you know, to put it in another perspective, everybody's going to benefit from it.
Yes.
I mean, Somerset will benefit from it. We're definitely going to benefit from it. Whoever else comes in is going to benefit from it. Yeah, is there profit? Is it something that will be considered profitable? Yeah, but it'll be profitable for everybody. So, and I think that's really the key to this whole thing, it's, to me, you know, we gotta look for the future and, you know, on the water side of what goes on in this city, you know, we've heard so many times that, you know, the water department needs more customers. They need more volume coming through. Well, it's unfortunate that maybe that's not happening on that side, but this is a great opportunity to just fulfill that type of thinking, because what we're doing is bringing in more volume to be able to smooth out cost. So it's I'm all for it, and
So
I just hope that this initial effort to open up the eyes of everybody will get the ball rolling, and maybe we'll need the efforts of Mr. Nassif, who's sitting out there, who's coming and told us that he's willing to work with us on it. And but we're at a vantage point at this point. So I've read through the report. It's a starting point. I think it definitely shows the public that there's definitely an advantage to doing what we're trying to do, and I hope this thing moves forward. I can understand how Somerset might be a little bit skeptical, because they got a lot of things coming down the road that's going to affect them if they don't do this, and so I guess, you know, they're gonna want to maybe move very carefully with this, but hopefully they'll see the advantage to it. That's what I would say. Does anybody else have anything they want to say? Scott, you okay with this?
Yep.
Good. Andrew?
Yes.
Good. All right, having said all that, Paul, thanks again for making that presentation. I'll then entertain a motion to approve the report that has been submitted with respects to entering into a partnership with Somerset with regard to handling their effluent. And as a result of it, setting up a formal means of communication to get this project on the move. Having said that, anybody want to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion for item 1 to move forward with this draft letter to bring Somerset on our.
Gentlemen,
I'll second the motion.
okay, I think we ought to do a vote. Okay,
Roll call.
roll call, yeah, that's the word. Let's do a roll call.
Member Alves. Yes. Member Souza.
Yes.
Howiak.
Yes.
And Almeida.
Yes. Motion passes. Unless anybody has any other business they wanted to discuss, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that, sorry, I'll make that motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.